Will you join us for day 540,856 of the Boulder Push? And it really has been an eternal torment, hasn't it, Charon?
It has indeed, Dave. Now, even though this is the 540,856th time of rolling, he doesn't seem to be any less determined to get that boulder up that hill, does he?
No, he's in a league of his own. And I'd go as far as to say, in terms of progress, he's pretty much in the same state as he was latterly on day one of this task.
And what a task it is. But it's not the first eternal torment we've seen this season, is it, Dave?
No, Prometheus, a relative newcomer to Eternal Torment, has really upped the game with the liver pecking. It really takes something to regrow a new organ every day, doesn't it?
Indeed. And fire's been a real game changer in human evolution, Dave.
Absolutely. He really went out on a limb by defying Zeus.
But let's not undermine the effort of Sisyphus. 540,855 consecutive hill roll failures. But I really think this could be the day, Dave.
Certainly could. Though Zeus is a vengeful god, and it shows. This is a new torment record and his best damnation to date. It's certainly enough to ensure he remains at the top of Mount Olympus.
Indeed. It's been a good season for Zeus since he slaughtered his father, Kronos.
Indeed. Kronos, a Titan, having already swallowed 5 of his previous children, it was always going to be a tough challenge for the young Zeus, but he's really proved his divine authority, hasn't he, Charon?
Yes, obviously. I mean, slicing open your father's stomach to free your brothers and sisters takes a special talent. But we saw that from very early on. We knew Zeus was heading for Mount Olympus.
Sisyphus has a lot to compete with there.
Of course, and no disrespect, but we know his son Glaucus hasn't fared much better in terms of torment.
He was torn apart by his own flesh-eating horses, wasn't he, Charon?
He was indeed, Dave.
Now, that was unfortunate, but if you're going to work with flesh-eating horses, you've got to know there's a risk involved, and I really don't think he did the maths there, did he, Charon?
I've seen some bad chariot race losses in my time, but that one has to be up there, Dave.
Yes, it is. I remember back in 120 BC when...
And returning to the action, we see Sisyphus has managed to push the boulder another 6 inches by employing the back push, which is something you only see once every 7 years or so. So we're fortunate to be watching it here, Dave.
It's a risky maneuver, the back push, which is why it's not often seen in Eternal Torment. It's very easy to end up on the diagonal, which is just prolonging the push.
Absolutely. Without that clear field of vision, there's no way to tell if you're still heading in the most direct route, Dave.
Of course, as our viewers will know, there is no groove or pathway from previous attempts, as everything resets itself once the stone has hit the bottom of the hill.
And that's very demoralizing from an athlete's point of view, isn't it, Dave?
Oh, yes. And that's a large part of the psychology of this particular form of torment. You yourself have devised many means of torture, and really, it's all about the psychology, isn't it, Charon?
Absolutely. Is Zeus being too hard on him? That's the question everyone is asking back at home, Dave.
Well, it's a difficult one. He's got form having cheated death twice, which is not going to please the gods.
Yes, indeed. Controversial move there, persuading Persephone to allow him back up to the mortal realm to arrange his own funeral rites. But knowing his track record, was it any surprise he didn't come back after 3 days?
No, it certainly wasn't. And it's been a heavy price to pay.
Too heavy, some might say, Dave.
And of course, the first time he cheated death, it resulted in the headless, bloodless, mortally wounded and disease-torn, continuing to walk the earth, racked with pain and begging for release. That really was a great save from Ares, the god of war, Charon.
One of the best I've seen. I was beginning to get a bit worried I wouldn't see any more dead mortals in the underworld, but thankfully, Ares spotted Thanatos, managed to get him out in time.
Sorry to interrupt, Charon. I'm just hearing that he has, in fact, pushed the stone slightly too far to the left. They're just looking at the VAR footage now.
Oh, well, this could be disastrous. He's almost at the top, about 17/18ths of the way, I'd say. This could really be a setback for him if he's made to start again, Dave.
They've slowed down the footage, and it appears he was just onside for that last push. So he can continue to move the stone up.
That really would have been a setback, which, of course, is really what a god like Zeus wants from eternal damnation, Dave.
Yes, indeed. But, of course, speculation has mounted as to whether or not Sisyphus might be transferring to an even higher mountain.
I hope not. Hope for his sake, that's just a rumour, Dave.
Indeed, not all mountains are created equal, and Even a slight change in incline could really put this mortal off his game.
And what a game it is. Rocks and man against
Sorry,
bird.
I'm just hearing, we're getting news in that, yes, I can tell you that the Trojan War has just ended. It seems the Greeks just managed to sneak in by sending in a wooden horse, which was mistaken as a gift from the gods, piling out and killing every Trojan in sight, burning their homes, and, yes, taking their wives and children prisoner.
Well, that will be a morale boost for Menelaus and Agamemnon, Dave.
Yes, absolutely. Although there are rumours that Clytemnestra is still holding a grudge for the sacrifice of their daughter Iphigenia.
That was an unfortunate incident for all involved. But again, if you're going to annoy a god, you need to know there are going to be consequences. And I'm sorry, but slaughtering a sacred deer is just not on, Dave.
Well, we'll hold out for the full-time whistle on Clytemnestra and Agamemnon. Meanwhile, I can see that Sisyphus is almost at the top.
Yes, this is always a tough part of the stone roll, and it's particularly mossy here, isn't it?
Yes. Ironically, a rolling stone in this situation does in fact gather moss.
Well, I imagine that's because it's not so much being rolled as being pushed upwards, Dave.
Indeed, and Sisyphus is having to expend real energy at this stage. We can see his arms bulging, his legs trembling, potentially ready to give way. Sweat is literally dripping down his face and back. He looks like he's in real trouble here.
Yes, when you get stuck on a moss patch like that, you often second guess yourself and think that you should have gone slightly to the left or to the right just to avoid having pushed through that really tricky piece of green, Dave.
It looks like he was trying to avoid the slightly stony ridge just there on the edge of the hill.
You could be right, but really he's not had much success on moss these millennia. And at some point, you've got to wonder if going for it is actually worth the risk, Dave.
Oh, this is a tense moment, Charon.
It always is, Dave.
This is my favourite part of the whole event.
Well, without a doubt, it is the highlight, Dave.
Oh, this is looking good.
He's reached the ridge, but the stone appears to be slipping.
Oh, he's holding strong, but gravity is against him, Charon.
And yes, can I see it's beginning to slip. His feet are beginning to slip.
Oh, eternal damnation doesn't get any better than this.
It really is man versus nature contest right here. We've seen this 540,855 times. And the folks at home really want to know, is this going to be the final push?
Oh, he's really struggling there, Charon.
This is tense stuff, Dave.
Oh, and
who are my son?
No.
Come on, my son.
Oh,
no!
Oh, I think it's all over.
Oh, it is now.
Oh.